Alright, welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at this week's pre-orders, and they are live. This video is sponsored by CMO Games and the VoxLink app. More on those later. Alright, so here we have it, this week's pre-orders, and they are live. So we have the 6 Regiments of Renown, the new boxes. So first we have the Regiments of Renown Norgrimm's Rune Throng. Then we have the Coven of Thryx, Big Grikk's Kruleshots, Hargax Pit Beasts, Veremord's Shamblers, and Elthwin's Thorns. So I did go through each of these individually. We did a breakdown of the price and value, like the MSRP of the individual models compared to their actual MSRP of these Regiments of Renown, to kind of see what kind of discounts they offer. For the most part, they're not necessarily the best deals as far as Games Workshop's boxes. A couple of them come in around 20%. We know historically Games Workshop will do closer to like 30 to 35%. So they're not necessarily the best deals, but for some of them, it's essentially like buying a unit and then paying a couple extra bucks and getting another one. So for instance, if you were going to buy the Shamblers, you basically purchase a 20-man zombie unit for 60 bucks. You pay 10 extra bucks and get the corpse cart. So you get a $35 model for 10 bucks if you're already buying the zombies. And it's basically the same thing with Elthwin's Thorns as well. It's 60 bucks for the Gossamed Archers, and then you get the Revenant for an extra $10. A couple of the boxes, like the Hargax Pit Beasts, are not really a good deal. Now, if you were going to buy all 3 of these individually, they're $45 a piece, so it comes out to $135. So you're saving $25 on this box set, but it's less than 20% discount. So you have to kind of judge them for yourselves. The top 3 boxes all had relatively decent discounts. But again, the most important thing with things like these Regiments of Renown or the box sets is, do you want all the units in it? Because if you're saving like 20 bucks, but you have to spend 100 to get that $20 in savings, and you weren't necessarily going to spend that 100 to begin with, it's really not savings. It's you just spending more money on essentially like pile of shame stuff. So depending on if you're actually going to use all the units inside, definitely is a big factor when it comes to buying these box sets. But typically they are a decent discount. In this case, 20 to like 35% off, depending on which one. So if you haven't checked out that video, go check it out. Make sure you're getting a good deal. I'm going to be picking up Big Grikk's Kruleshots. I'm going to be picking up Big Grikk's Kruleshots because I do need a few more of the bows for my Cruel Boys army. I think that's the only one that's super appealing to me. I had considered Elthwin's Thorns because I do need a Revenant, or potentially the zombies because I could use a couple more of those, but I'm not sure about those. And honestly, for somebody like me, I purchased all 3 of these individually for like warcry. So I would be happy to have gotten them for a discount because I paid full price on all of them. So even if something's not an amazing deal, if you were planning on purchasing it anyway, a deal's a deal. So some nice boxes right here. I would imagine a couple of them will sell out relatively quickly depending on popularity. I'm not sure any of them are actually like amazing or anything like that though. So I'm not that worried about it. Now a quick message from today's sponsor, VoxLink Tabletop Gaming App. VoxLink is the ultimate tabletop community gaming app designed to connect tabletop gaming players, help find and attend games, events, and tournaments nearby. VoxLink app will offer a free version as well as bonus features for premium users. VoxLink app is the best new way to stay connected to tabletop gaming communities you love. And who's behind this revolutionary new tabletop gaming app? The one and only Constantine, aka the Magnet Baron, a 30-year veteran of the hobby. And with your help, we can make this dream a reality. Check out the Kickstarter launch of the VoxLink Tabletop Gaming app that will change the way that we connect and play forever. VoxLink, help build the community and make tabletop gaming better for us all. Now, back to the video. So next we've got the Kharadron Overlords. So we do see the regular Battletome at 55, the limited edition Battletome at 90. These do sell out pretty much every time. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but for the limited edition Battletome, they did say they're making 500 of them, numbered and everything. So if you are after one of those, as long as you beat out the other 500 people, you should be fine. The code right is the new model. Very cool right there. I like it. Definitely like a little jab at Games Workshop and their rules bloat, which is kind of funny. And then we have the Vanguard Kharadron Overlords box, which again, I broke down this box. It's a really nice box. I like the composition of it. Overall, I think it's a good place to start if you were interested in the Kharadron Overlords. And then we see Black-Eyed Saint in paperback, the Resting Places in paperback. And then we've got the Argonaut's Oath as well. If you are interested in Drecky Flint, this is like his little background story, and he is obviously a special character for the Kharadron Overlords. And then we have the leftovers from last week as well. So some good sets came out last week in the Boarding Patrol Tyranids. I'm not the hugest fan of this one, but it is a nice box set. The Strike Force Augustus at 200 with almost all new models. It does come with some heavy intercessors, but it does have 2 of the new Desolation squads, and then also the Dreadnought and Lieutenant model as well. So nice box set there. From what I understand, they have made plenty of these, so I wouldn't be that worried about this one selling out or anything. But moving down here, we do see what I suspected would sell out. Realistically, I knew this was going to sell out. The Boarding Patrol Chaos Space Marines. This was extremely limited. There was very few of them. Games Workshop was essentially offering shops like 1 or 2 of them at best. So not a lot of supply there. And if you haven't watched already, we just saw the preview for the 2 new boarding patrols coming up, the Tau Empire and the Orcs. And both of them have a brand new character in them. The Orcs have Boss Snickrot, and then the Tau have Commander Farsight. And part of the issue with that is the good boarding patrols, really all the boarding patrols have been very limited, but the really good ones have sold out like immediately and not really given stores an opportunity to supply the community with them. So that drives a lot of the extra, so that drives all of that extra demand towards Games Workshop's website. So they're definitely holding back supply to sell directly to customers to take advantage of the substantially higher profit margins they make. So that being said, the issue is something like this with Abaddon in it. All these models are relatively new, but they've been around for a while. I'm worried that if they try to preview a new model, a new character model that's super popular in particular in these boarding patrol box sets, and they're not really supplying them, I have a feeling they're just going to do the same thing again, where they have a limited supply. They basically offer them exclusively through the store at full price, and then maybe 1 or 2 get sent out to the retail locations. So really not cool. I hate that they're doing that. It's bad enough that they're already locking unique models or new models behind like the big box paywall. But in this case, it's even worse because now you can't even get it at your local store or online retailer for a nice discount because they're not even getting sent an adequate supply. And now a quick message from this week's sponsor. This video is sponsored by CMOgames.com, where you can get 15% off most Games Workshop pre-orders, and they go live right at midnight Saturday mornings. CMOgames.com offers free shipping on orders over $25 in the US 48, and most orders ship within 24 hours. CMOgames.com has been selling Games Workshop products online for more than 20 years, and customer service is their top priority. CMOgames.com carries the full line of Games Workshop products, including 40K, Age of Sigmar, Kill Team, Warcry, paints, hobbies, and tools. Visit CMOgames.com using the affiliate link in the description below so they know you heard about CMOgames.com from Warhammer Man Studios. Now, back to the video. So while I am really excited to see all these new boarding patrols, and I really like the composition of most of them, and they've been phenomenal deals. The Chaos one was essentially like $200 worth of models, so it's almost like 50% off. It was 40-something% off. So I love that they're offering these big deals, but I'm worried about the availability of a lot of this stuff. And is this really just us being forced to kind of capitulate into buying directly from Games Workshop to get access to these cool new discounts instead of being able to support our friendly local game store or online retailer? So I guess we'll just see how it plays out. There's a bunch more boarding patrols coming. It's going to be a while before we get the Tau boarding patrol or the Orc boarding patrol, just because they have only now been previewed and they're coming with the Arcs book. And then we just saw the Vashtor Arcs book. So that's probably going to come out later this month. So realistically, we probably have about 2 months before we see those other boarding patrols. So by then we'll have a much better idea what to expect. But I am definitely a little worried about this. The only problem with Games Workshop having like one bad tactic or practice is having multiple bad tactics or practices and then combining them together. So having a limited supply of something and then also only offering it through their web store creates that FOMO, which is real, and then also forces us to pay maximum prices. And then on top of that, Games Workshop makes a substantially higher margin, which I'm all for Games Workshop making money, but I do not like the idea of them cutting out the middleman. The idea of them basically eliminating the friendly local game store or online retailer and going straight to the customer is definitely worst case scenario, because it's only thanks to those friendly local game stores, especially in some countries over others where we don't have a ton of Games Workshop stores, that the actual hobby is thriving. And if you want to keep having a place to play and meet up with your friends and all of the cool other stuff provided by these game stores, we have to show our support for them. So yeah, definitely some cool stuff coming here on the pre-order list. This was kind of a light week for me because I have been going in pretty hard recently on a lot of this stuff. So I kept it down to the minimum. The Big Grikk's Kruleshot is my main purchase this week. And then we'll kind of go from there over the next few weeks. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been overwhelmed lately by just the sheer volume of releases and box sets coming out of Games Workshop. But just remember, you don't have to pick up every box set when it comes out right away and just let that pile of shame get out of hand. Because oftentimes the bigger it gets, the more discouraging it can be. So it's okay to pass on a box set even if it has some good savings, or potentially to shift some of your old pile of shame to buy some new stuff. And I personally have been doing quite a bit of that lately, getting rid of some of the older kits that I haven't busted into yet that just really don't have the excitement or appeal that some of the newer stuff does. And then that way I can recycle that back into my new purchases. So that's it for this week. Let me know what you're most excited about. It seemed like the Regiments of Renown are kind of cool, but there wasn't a ton of hype behind them. So this is kind of an off week for the 40k players out there, and maybe not as exciting for the Sigmar players, unless of course you are a Kharadron Overlords player, in which case I am very excited for you because there's nothing better than getting your new book. So that being said, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. Check them out to save 15%. And of course, thanks to the VoxLink app as well for their sponsorship. Make sure to check out the link in the description to show your support. That Kickstarter is still live. And that's it for today, Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and what are you picking up this week? And I'm out of here.